A little bit of a technical difficulty right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize from the bottom of my soul, which is bottomless. I love you. Thank you for being here. Our family in the neighborhood where we used to live, my ex wife and I were very, very close to our neighbors. My brother, who passed, and his wife, who was left here. He had died a few months before my wife and I were no longer. Everybody said they would be there for us, that were connected to us. Oh, wait a minute. No, they were not available. So her and I helped each other out. It was a beautiful year, as hard as it was. A year, 2, 3 years. She loved him. I had love for him. I loved my ex wife. She had love for me. She did help me to see that the loss of my wife, my ex wife, that beautiful person, was a death of sorts. That's interesting. It is. We have never talked since 6 years ago. Maybe a few times. I did tell her not to contact me superficially. I don't know if I made that clear enough. I'm pretty sure that I did. And she has not contacted me since. It was inappropriate the way she tried to reconnect with me. It was as if nothing had ever happened. Ironically enough, now, if she sent me the same email, which was about 2 or 3 years ago, my consciousness is such that nothing ever happened. But at that time, I was still healing and learning all that had happened. Why did I say I loved her? Well, I loved her. And I know she loved me. But I do know that we both did not understand, that we truly did not know what real love was and is. Call it call it spiritual love, cosmic love. How would you define love? Would it be easy to define love? There's been times where I've gone searching around on the internet and typed in love, and a bunch of stupid shit came my way. Puppies and cartoons, just fluffy stuff. I want to know the cosmic stuff of love. Did I finish that story in the beginning of the XXX? I don't feel like I did. Maybe I did. I feel like I did. I'm tired. For $39.98, you can become one with love. XXX. Pay the ticket, go in there, so and so and so and so. Have sex with the broad. Climax, yes, I did talk about it. And poof, I am in love with you, baby. I am in love with you, mama. I am in love with you, daddy. I am in love with you, baby. Now I want to kill you. I remember being in North Hollywood A lot went down in Los Angeles, or perhaps I was privileged enough to come across such events to where I can really see the grit of life in the city. I remember going to the local, it was the magazine stand rack on the corner of Laurel Canyon and Moore Park. I really liked looking at the magazines on the edge of the street. I would look at art magazines to see how silly everything continued to be. The same, the same, the same. Art news, art news. And what happens? To be precise, I wasn't there when this happened. It was either it happened before I went to the newsstand, the magazine rack stand, or it happened right after. There was this clinic across the street from the newspaper stand, and I'm pretty sure it was a place of refuge for women escaping domestic violence. Didn't go so well for this couple. Something happened. He came to the place. She ran out of the place. She was running across the street. No, 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 I love you. He chased after her. He retrieved a revolver from his waist. Pop, pop, pop. I loved you. He killed her. That's usual, isn't it? So my friend who had lost her husband, who I had lost as well because he was my brother, my best friend, one of them, we were now having to face his death and her helping me to realize that I also am dealing with a death. I had been with this woman for almost 30 years. She was part of my entire life. And then suddenly, no more, I love you. Where did love go? It never went away from me, and I know it never went away from her, but somehow, as we were playing roles in the human game, there was an understanding that you could not say that anymore. It did not pertain to the scenario, the divorce. I learned a lot from that. More questions, more questions. I feel love within myself. I love myself. I am sacred. I am beautiful. How many of us can say that to ourselves? Is it easier to, let's say, project the definition of love upon another than it is to project that image in the mirror upon yourself and receive it? I love you. There is a lot of self-loathing, self-hatred out there. Where does that come from? I love you. You're my child. I love you, dear child. This is your mama. Mama will always love you. This is your papa. Sleep well. Why is it that men cannot say, I love you to another man? It isn't because men are intelligent in the way that I'm looking into this. and they understand on a whole level that love is beyond our understanding, that love is not unattainable, but it is not tangible, or it's not to be had in the reality that we humans occupy. Why would you say that? Love is everywhere. Love is why I exist. Again, in essence, I feel that it is correct to say that we are made up of love. But somehow, along the way of living our little human lives, we have lost the ability to have love live with us actually. And we get caught up in all of the definitions and all of the ways in which we see this life to be true. So yes, essentially, let's say, we are comprised of love, our spirit. That feels home to me. That feels correct. Not in some fanciful, fantastic, imaginatively, brilliantly deceiving way. No, 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 no. Not in a comfort zone way, no. In a real way. But look into the real world. Look at what we do to one another. How do we find ourselves in such a predicament? How is it that we are where we are still? Wanting to possess others, control them, take from them. Love is a give. Love never takes. Love does not harm. Love is indivisible. It appears clear to my consciousness that we do not know what love actually is. Because if we did, and we lived in accordance with love, without duality, well, our world, the human world, would be lovely. It would be peaceful. It would be harmonious. What does that tell us about what we are in? Are we living in a world, the human world, without love? And what is love? Can you tell yourself that you love you? I love you. My next relationship, there was a pattern that continued from my marriage where I would do anything to please my partner. I love you. I did tell her that I will not tell you that I love you. My actions will show you the truth of how I love you. I don't feel like she liked that completely. Why do we need to hear the words, I love you? Well, it doesn't mean anything until you finally say, I love you. Can we receive love by the way we treat one another without having to say it? Does love come from need, loneliness, desperation, being separate? I need to become one with you. This is really beautiful to look into because do you see how hard it is to live in a world where we believe that we are separate, and we are, because we are playing that game and we do not know how to not play that game. All of it's lined up. You know how it works. And you know how to say I love you, when to say it, and when not to say it. Love is quite the mystery. You ever thought about all of this? It's very confusing. If we really knew, really were one with love, would we be in all of this mess? Would we still be divided? Would we still be fighting? Love is powerful. Love is beautiful. Love is home. Love is my home. Love is forgiveness. Love is understanding that you are the person that hurt you. Love is understanding where hurt originated. What is love to you? Do you take love for granted? Is love simple? Do we take it for granted? I now say I love you to people, just as I do to you. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. time saying I love you again. It's different now. Not so much different, but it's different now. When I say it, I can feel it. I love you. There's no meaning behind it. There's no definition. It's just what is. I love you. It is oneness. When I'm saying I love you to you, I'm saying it to myself, and I'm saying it to existence itself and all beings. Life. I love you, life. It's pretty powerful because life, life is gangster. And life will tear you apart. I love you, life. Thank you for tearing me apart so that I can see a little bit more clearly of what is and isn't. Yeah, I've been wanting to speak about love for quite some time. Is love timeless? Is love in time? Is love outside of time? Does time have any place with the dealings of love? Is there love inside of a drama? Betrayal, revenge, passion. Love is always in there somewhere, but what kind of love is that? If you loved somebody, would you hurt them? If you loved somebody, would you hurt yourself? If you hurt yourself, could you love somebody else? How does all of this work? Can you love somebody if you do not love yourself? I have heard that it is very common that people have a very difficult time dealing with self-love. What is that? How do you do it? I don't like myself. I hate myself even. Nobody has loved me. What happens to us when we are children? Love does not seem to be handed down. I am talking about complete love, indivisible love, love that will not play in the game of duality. You cannot separate love. Why is it that we come out of our childhoods wondering about love? How is it that we are empty, loveless, that should have been provided to us from our parents, from our civilization. Where is love to be had? That is a very serious question, not to simply ponder, but to find out about. Go into that. Are we living in a world without love? That does not feel correct to me, but we definitely are not living in a world of love. It's not so easy, is it? I've said this before, and this is what I'm going to leave you with. Clearly, we are not living in love, with love. If we were, we wouldn't be doing all that we are doing to ourselves, to one another, and to the world itself. And we have been doing this human thing for quite some time. Where has love been? Where can we find it? Can you find love? Can you attain it? Can it be reached for? Is it something that you could, search for? Is there a journey in order to find love? I have found my love. All I ever wanted was to be loved. I remember crying to my ex-wife and saying something similar. All I've ever wanted was to love. It's true. And she had to say goodbye. That crushed me. Because there was a part of me, my soul, that could not understand how it worked here on earth, being human. I could not understand how another being, I don't want to say abandon me, but it was an awakening to my soul to look into, how can this be? This person, my love, is gone. Death did not separate us. She's still here. I am still here. What happened? Gone. No getting it back. And why are we still apart? Why have we not been in contact? have told you before, my ex-wife and I are not in contact because I am such a person where I need to get down and go through what actually happened. Why did you do this? Why did this happen? Why was this said? Not as a persecution. I just want to know what happened. And it appears clear to me that she was not willing to do that. She wanted to almost leave off where we began, but something happened in between that made you go, why can't I continue to say I love you? I will leave it at that right now, and we will get back to this because I want to speak about madness, and I want to speak about love, because how do we go about figuring it? Can we figure all of it out? I don't know if it's about figuring it all out. But can we look into it and understand a new reality into all of this? I don't know. It's a curious thing though, isn't it? Have you ever felt it out? Do you struggle with love? Not being loved, wanting to love, the rejection from somebody who you loved? It's complicated. So is there love outside of the human game? Human emotions, human expectations, human agendas, human drama? Is there love outside of that? And is that love home? Is that love eternal? It's a good question.